Yo, look at all these birds everywhere. This is so awesome. Who's that? Is that Groose? I love Groose. Oh my god, the bazaar. They put shopping in this game. They thought of everything. Weird blue lady in my dreams. I mean, okay, that's a little weird, but Bamboo Island, the freaking lumpy pumpkin. Yes, please. Back in the year of 2014, my parents took me to the store to get a game with my birthday money. The Wii U had recently just come out, but I was still a little broke boy. I couldn't afford any more than a single game. Just as I was reaching for Mario Party 9 on the top shelf of my local Target, it hit me. It glistened from the far end of the aisle, calling out to me. What's that? Is that The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on clearance for $20? After that, my friends, the rest is history, and thank God I did not buy Mario Party 9 because I rented it later that year and it was absolute dookie buns. Who the heck at Nintendo thought, you know what people like about parties? Cars. Let's put everyone in a car. But anyways, I'm getting distracted. Let's get back to the matter at hand. After playing through Skyward Sword again recently and seeing the HD remaster get announced, I realized just how much I love this game. You know, when you think of your average Zelda game, you got your Jabus, you got your alien space abductions. You know, I get it. You got your little baby bitch boys starting a capitalist empire. I get it. It's all pretty cool stuff, don't get me wrong, alright? Skyward Sword is the only game in the series that I get just excited thinking or talking about. I can't say that about hardly any other games to this day, and that includes not just Zelda games. Now, just to clear this out of the way, no misconceptions, while I have played Skyward Sword several times, this video isn't meant to be a review or a retrospective like some other videos on YouTube. This video is intended to be a spoiler-free middle school PowerPoint presentation on why you should, I don't know, maybe pick the game up when it launches in July. Now, I can already see some of you down in the comment section just tip-tap, type a ruin down there, just on your keyboards, telling me to suck on your fat Deku nuts because Skyward Sword sucks and I hate it and Nintendo should be ashamed that they released it to us. Before you post that comment, hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. I am not claiming that Skyward Sword is the best game in the series. It's not. Pretty much any fan you talk to, even the people who really love this game like me, will tell you that this game ain't all sugar plums and candy canes. If you're someone who has played Skyward Sword and you hated it, okay. I'm not gonna try to change your mind and tell you why you're wrong or any of that, okay? But I am gonna tell you why I love this game regardless. When writing the script for this video, I felt like a middle-aged suburban mom who's just gushing over her favorite novel at the neighborhood book club or something. Yes, I love this game that much. So hop on the living room love seat, grab your favorite glass of imported Chardonnay, and let me take you on a one-way trip to Titty City, because this is gonna be one long and crazy ride, Margaret. Yeah? You're supposed to bring snacks this week, Margaret. What happened? Enough idle chit-chat. What do you say we hop in and talk about this tasty masterpiece, the pizza pie we call Skyward Sword? First, I want to briefly touch on this game's art style. Skyward Sword was made to mirror impressionist paintings, and it's the reason why people in this game don't follow perfect body and facial proportions, despite being a more realistic game than, say, I don't know, Wind Waker. Every part about the art style in this game is just so great and so unique to me. What I really appreciate about this art style, though, is how it's paired with the hardware that this game ran on when it came out in 2011. The Wii's hardware was already dated in 2006, and even more so when this game came out in 2011. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this game's art style lends itself to the weaker hardware that this game originally ran on. Thanks to that, the washed out look of the scenery and the colors don't look undetailed, but instead they look like, well, a painting. Now, obviously, the new HD remaster just got announced, and as far as I can tell, it takes everything the original did right and just polishes it and makes it better. They polished up the textures, made that boy 1080p HD widescreen, and the game even appears to be running at 60 FPS as far as we can tell from the trailers. To me, that is all fantastic. While some people may not love the design of the characters in this style, to me they're just so expressive, and you can tell exactly how they're feeling all the time. In my opinion, Link and all the other 3D Zelda games just makes like two faces. Neutral and angry. Skyward Sword, however, animates each character extremely intricately, especially in the cutscenes. You can really tell how much work went into their animations. I wish every Zelda game were like this, where the characters would be this expressive and emotive. Plus, I just like the designs of the characters. The design of Zelda in this game is my favorite iteration of her to this day. I'd like to think that because this game is the first in the timeline and the beginning of The Legend of Zelda, the characters' designs mimicking those of paintings gives them a sort of ancient and more legendary feel. Next, let's talk about how you control Link in this game and how that can actually differ if you end up picking up the remake. One main criticism I see of this game that I see all the time is that the motion controls sucked. Now, while they may not be everyone's cup of Folgers premium brew, the controls of this game still work like 99% of the time. Thanks to a little add-on that makes the Wii Remote longer than the security line at the airport, Link now has one-to-one sword movements with your movements in real life. In the upcoming Switch remaster, the motion control functionality has actually been built in already to the Switch's Joy-Cons. This way, you won't feel like you're waving around a freaking safety hazard every time you try to play this game. And instead, you'll just be waving around a tiny little baby safety hazard. You swing diagonally, Link swings diagonally. You swing horizontally, Link swings horizontally. Link takes a dump, you take a dump. Oh, I gotta go right now, I gotta go. Anyways, I thought the combat in this game was really good and actually provided a lot of options. For example, we have a lovely Deku Baba over here in his natural habitat. I cannot do that accent. That was god-awful. Now, if you wanted to defeat this Deku Baba, what would you do? Would you A, approach it and start swinging Doki Doki mode? Should he B, toss a few boom boom bombs at it and watch it eat it and frickin' explode? Ha, idiot. Or should he C, wait patiently until it attacks, parry back, and then just punch you right in the face or something? Or should he D, do some cool-ass laser shit? Now, I'll give you a couple seconds. To decide, but I think we all know the answer. That's right, cool-ass laser shit. In this game, all you have to do is raise your sword skyward from a safe distance and do this. You see what Nintendo did there? He points his sword skyward. Skyward Sword, that's the title of the game, you guys. That's the title of the game. Hello everybody, welcome back to Late Night with Nicolini. I'm your host, Nicolini. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Our first guest comes all the way from the International Gamer Society. You know, he's traveled thousands of miles to get here, but we booked him. Please, welcome to the stage, Tommy Tenderloin. Well, it's good to have you, Tommy T. Why don't you grab a seat right there? Yo, what the hell is that? Oh, well, you see, Tommy, here at Nicolini Productions, we understand how much being a barefoot gamer means to you. So we went out of our way to get your feet their own chair. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, that's cool. That's real cool right there, Nico. That's cool stuff. Tommy Tenderloin, I gotta ask the question that the people want to know. Tell me your favorite part of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. You know, Nico, you're asking the tough questions. I appreciate that. My favorite part of Skyward Sword is when the sword goes skyward. Tommy Tenderloin, everybody! So yeah, like I was saying before, what I like about the combat in this game is that there's usually more than one way to approach how you defeat an enemy. If you want to rush in and go Doki Doki Bonanza, Okie Dokie Bonanza. If you want to play it safe though, just play it safe. There's nothing wrong with that. In other games, motion controls don't even feel remotely similar to how they're portrayed in the game. Like in Wii Sports, for example, you're not swinging the tennis racket. You're doing this. What other game existed in 2011 that had one-to-one movements like this? Nothing. Now, if you disagree with me and you say, the motion controls don't work, Nico, they're absolute dookie buns, then I have some bad news for you. The diagnosis is in, and it's not pretty. I regret to inform you, sir, but the diagnosis reads that you are a stinky poo-poo wet baby fart who sucks at video games and doesn't know how to play the game right. Listen, man, I get it, but you can't just shake the controller and expect to win. Oh, and by the way, the condition is chronic, and terminal. And you're gonna die in 3 seconds. Wait, I love Skyward Sword's controls, I promise. My favorite part is... If the controls don't work, just recalibrate, you doofus. It's not that hard. All jokes aside though, if you really just can't stand motion controls, just turn them off. It's fine. Nintendo added a button map only mode in the new Switch version. Regardless of whatever controller scheme you end up going with though, you feel like you have to outwit your opponent with both your sword and your shield. Very few games even remotely feel like you're in a real sword duel like Skyward Sword does. Now, I'm not trying to say that every enemy interaction you come across in this game is perfect or amazing, but when they get it right, they get it really right. Just a heads up from here on out, I will be talking about combat in the first like 2 or 3 hours of this game from here on out. So if you haven't played this game and you really care about that spoilery stuff, there's the door. It's right there. That's my door right there. And you can use it to leave. At first in the Skyview Temple, all you have to do is swing one way and not the other to damage Astolfos. Pretty easy, right? Then you have to move your sword one way and then actually attack the other in the Ghirahim fight. Not that hard. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, the main antagonist of this game is some creepy, short-fused demon fashionista, Lord Ghirahim, my personal favorite antagonist in the entire series. Now look, while he may look kind of threatening when you meet him for the first time, he's kind of stupid in the first fight against him. After his stupidity wears off though, he gets his own sword. And now this is the first time in the game where the importance of parrying with your shield is displayed. Up to this point in the game, you can just walk up to enemies and just slash them like crazy, and for the most part, you'll win. In this first fight, if you don't think carefully before swinging, Ghirahim smacks Link's ass faster than he can down a bottle of pumpkin soup. And that man can down a bottle of pumpkin soup, let me tell you. As the game continues, it becomes more and more obvious that having patience instead of swinging just wildly can yield far greater results. Now, while the overall combat in this game is not incredibly difficult, I really do appreciate that from the start of the game to the end of the game, it progressively gets harder and harder. Without going into much more detail for spoilers' sake, the game keeps throwing new things at you to keep the combat interesting, especially in the finale of the game. When you get there, you'll know what I'm talking about. Finally, I want to move into the last point of this video. One of the biggest complaints about this game is that it's too linear. You know, the whole linear game yucky argument makes no sense to me. What's wrong with a linear game? What I admire about the Legend of Zelda series is that they don't allow the formula to get stale. Now, some of you may be saying, Nico man, what the heck are you talking about? But like, think about it. In one game, you put on a mask to play bongos while the undertones of death and dread echo all around you, and then in the next game, you're freaking singing with forest creatures and you're getting bullied by like 9-year-old kids. Like what? Like how did you go from this to this, Nintendo? Like, just can you run me through the logic there? I genuinely wish that I could be in the boardroom when Nintendo came up with their ideas for Zelda games. All right, everybody, thank you for coming in today. I hope everyone brought their best ideas today because we're gonna need it. All right, up first, Jimbo in the back. Zelda on a train. Yes. Nintendo really could have gone the route of, say, I don't know, Call of Duty, and just started pumping these games out year after year like it was no one's business. But Nintendo didn't do that. Each entry into the series stands on its own as a very unique experience compared to the one that came before it. And whether that be for better or for worse, Skyward Sword isn't any different. For people who say this game is too linear, I say, yeah, isn't that kind of the point? It's a linear game. Just how Breath of the Wild took a more passive approach to its storytelling to make room for its truly, and I mean truly awesome overworld, Skyward Sword says, screw the overworld, let's make a freaking in-your-face story with birds and weird tongue dudes and, I don't know, lizards or something. No, not lizards. Those are in this game. Actually, they are. There are lizards in this game. I'm right. If you play this game expecting groundbreaking exploration like in Breath of the Wild, yeah, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you play this game expecting great dungeons, great characters, and the most involved plot in all of Zelda, then yeah, you'll probably like this one. If there's anything you take from this video with you, Take this. If you go into Skyward Sword with a preconceived notion of what you think Zelda games should be, you'll miss the beauty of what this game is. Skyward Sword is great, but it's also great for vastly different reasons than all the other games in the series. Now let me ask you this. Is The Last of Us a bad game because it doesn't have enough of an open world? No! What the fuck? No, that would be stupid. In games like The Last of Us, it's about moving from one objective to another. And people love that game. So why is Skyward Sword any different? Is it because of the title, The Legend of Zelda, and how that's associated with a certain style of game? Yeah, probably. But come on, man. It's not like people played Peggle 2 and they're like, man, I really wish I were more emotionally connected to this beaver. Like what? Every game to ever exist chooses to focus on some things and not others. The Zelda team chose to focus on plot here, so I think it's totally understandable that it's, hey, you just completed A, there's no time to explore, go do B now. In this game, Link's motivations are not to lollygag around and explore a vast open world, nor are they to drink pumpkin soup and sing show tunes, but he still can do that if he wants to. His goals are purely about saving Zelda. People make it seem like there's absolutely nothing to do in the sky or around Skyloft or on the surface besides the story. And hear me out. While other Zelda games certainly have more things to uncover, there's still plenty of side quests and minigames to go around, just maybe a bit less than in other games, or it's presented in a different way. Okay, dude, so you may be asking yourself, Nico, man, what the heck is your point? Dude, like, you've been rambling for like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. How long is this video? I have no idea. If you're considering picking up this game in July, try and see why so many people like me love the game, even though it seems like the entire world hates it. Like every Zelda game before it, this game was risky. It was different. It wasn't trying to be like Twilight Princess before it. It was trying new things. And honestly, because of that, yeah, sometimes it fell on its face. But I promise you, if you go into this game thinking, hey, what's the worst that could happen? You might find something incredible. What started in 2011 as one of the most overrated Zelda games has quickly become one of the most underrated because of all the people online who haven't played it, mind you, keep calling it horseshit. At the end of the day, is this game perfect? No. Like, it'd be stupid of me to argue that it was. But to me, a game doesn't need to be perfect to love it, or even just enjoy it, for everything that Skyward Sword does wrong. It just does so many things right at the same time. The fact that this game released at the end of the Wii's life cycle and required Wii Motion Plus to even play it probably kept a lot of Zelda fans away from even trying this entry in the series. Listen, when I initially scripted this video, it was without knowledge that an HD remake would be coming this year. Skyward Sword is going to be here in just a couple short months, or whenever I finally post this video. If you stuck with me to the end of this video, give this game a shot. Please give this game a shot. Now, I'm not saying everyone listening should go out on release day and hash out that fat $60 for this game, but at some point, you should definitely give it a little smooch or two, you know? This is where the Zelda timeline begins, and I think it's a game that every Zelda fan should play at least once to see where the story began. I will be the first to admit that this game is not the best in the series. But damn it if it's not my favorite. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. I literally put months of effort into stuff like this, and it would mean a ton if you could just click that little red button. Oh, by the way, I thought I'd mention I have a Twitch channel too. We're streaming like 2 or 3 days a week over on right there. Come join us sometimes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got a hot glass of pumpkin soup with my name on it. Catch you guys later. Oh, that's awful. I mean, I don't know why I thought pumpkin soup would taste good, but jeez. Hey, who thought this business was a good idea? Pumpkin soup? Really? You couldn't have just gone with like a tomato bisque or a chicken noodle? How are you in business now that I think about it? You're on a pumpkin in the middle of the sky. Who are your customers?